What a great night in Philadelphia. An awesome game, a 9-3 victory over those bastards, the New York Mets. And now this week has a chance to become one of the great regular season weeks we have had in quite some time in this city. They have a chance, the Phillies do, to bury the Mets and not only all but lock up the National League East, but put the Mets' playoff chances in jeopardy as well. The Giants have been really good lately. They're only a couple of games behind the Mets. They're 7-3 in their last 10. We can take this team that I just hate with everything I have in me and send them home, and we can laugh at the team with the almost $400 million payroll missing the playoffs entirely. Boy, that would be sweet. But it would be but an appetizer for what the Eagles have the chance to do on Sunday after the Mets get buried. And it's bury Andy Reid and the Chiefs. These are the two things I dislike the most, Andy Reid and the New York Mets in all of sports. I know hate is a strong word. Do I hate the Mets and Andy Reid as much as I hate, like, cancer? No. But other than that, it's kind of close. I cannot stand Andy Reid, and we have a chance to not only embarrass him in the Super Bowl a few months ago, but come right back, send him to 0-2, and all but end it. Now, he has coached teams that have come back from slow starts, 0-2 before, but it's very difficult to do, and it very much feels like this Chiefs team is teetering, ruining the seasons of my two most hated rivals in sports, the New York Mets and Andy Reid. That would be a beautiful week in Philadelphia. Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to Philadelphia. We are broadcasting live in the Xfinity Lounge. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the afternoon, and we have a fun show planned for you today. It's gonna center a lot around my hatred of these two franchises, but there's also it's not just bad stuff. It's the fun that goes into beating these teams, both the Mets and Andy Reid's Chiefs. We're gonna get into all of that. I have a few other things planned that we haven't been able to get to. I had Tyler on like day one make a graphic for a movie I saw for a segment I'm gonna call That's Not Sports, and I think we're actually gonna have time to get to it today. We have some other stuff, but first, as always, let's hit those headlines. I like the let the heat run through you graphic. That's outstanding. First headline, I guess, is probably the most important for the future of what's going to happen, the near future, beating the Chiefs. And it's Jalen Carter has not been suspended. We didn't think that would be the case. He gets ejected before he ever plays a down in week one for spitting on Dak Prescott. He's going to face a fine. I think it was like $5,700. Imagine the dumb stuff I would do if I made $5,700 a week. Yeah, so they'll just take that from him. But it really, really felt as if the league just wanted to suspend Jalen Carter. Like, they sat and took their time making this decision because they were seeing if they could justify what would basically amount to 2 games for what is disrespectful and disgusting, but ultimately a non-violent act. You know, like, you don't face a 2-game suspension for knocking a player unconscious with a helmet to helmet, but spit? Oh, well, we're thinking about it. You know, we're going to see Tyreek Hill line up and play this week in all likelihood, and they thought, can we sit Jalen Carter another week? But as it turns out, that will not be the case, and we will have a chance to relive the glory of only a few months ago and have Jalen Carter just harassing Pat Mahomes all day on Sunday. And I got to tell you, I'm really looking forward to it. I am really looking forward to lining up against that team again and seeing if they can stop us and hopefully embarrassing them once again. More on that in a little bit. But the big headline coming out of last night, dear God, what a baseball game. Tyler, were you out in our little green room area or whatever the hell we call it, the office part of the office, when Julia comes out and asks if anyone wants tickets for last night? Because I gotta tell you, I feel like a damn fool for being like, I can't make it. One of the great games we've had maybe all season, Kyle Schwarber, home run number 50 on the season, joins Ryan Howard and nobody else as Phillies to hit 50 home runs in a year. And Ranger Suarez, just a nice casual, 6 shutout innings, 12 strikeouts. I feel like a damn fool for not taking those tickets. I got to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, I think first and foremost, I think we all are probably kicking ourselves a little bit. It goes back to I think about, it was a long time ago now, but we got offered at one point tickets to a random Sunday afternoon game at the Vet against the Giants back in 2002 or 2003 or whatever it was. We said, I can't go. We got some things to do. Kevin Millwood throws the no-hitter, and now you have that story to tell. But I think it's funny because when I was talking on the Philly show today, 99% of the time when that game occurs last night, Ranger Suarez is the headline. 6 innings, 12 Ks, mowed them down. And I think T-Mac marveled 6 times. He's like, the Mets don't even know what they're doing.
It really looked as if they were throwing the game, or we had someone on the batter's eye, flashing something in their face. They looked lost up there. I tweeted during the game, it looked as if it was Jamie Moyer versus Dan Ugla 27
that's a
times.
great pull.
That's really what it looked. It was like they were flailing. Juan Soto, who has more walks than strikeouts, struck out 3 times. He looked lost. And it was just Rangers hiding the ball. He's throwing. They're looking breaking ball. He's dropping the sinker. There's just nothing they could do. And it was... That's not even the headline.
And he flipped up 15 sliders last night, which is going into the game, he had thrown 60 all year. But you're right. It's not even the headline because Schwarber ends up becoming, the second Philly ever to hit 50 home runs. It was a lot of fun watching yesterday because it was comfortable. Even before the home run, it was a comfortable game because Ranger was just absolutely dominant. But they got after Manaea, which is something they've not done a ton in the past. And really, as you said, it did feel a little BTA last night.
No, it absolutely felt that way. And now with the pitching performances we've seen, and listen, they have to keep it going. They have to keep the momentum going. It's all about October with this team. I am starting, even without Zach Wheeler, to feel a little bit more confident in what this staff can do in the postseason. We've seen what Nola did. Sanchez has been great all year. Ranger Suarez appears to be back, Luzardo. I think you and I both have pretty decent enough confidence in Jesus Luzardo to at least not implode in the playoffs, if not give us a quality start. But I was just looking at the game log for Ranger Suarez last night. And can you tell me, Tyler, off the top of your head, how many double-digit strikeout performances Roy Halladay put up in his Cy Young winning 2010 season?
I mean, it feels like it had to be quite a bit. I would imagine he start 30-some-odd games that year?
32, 33 games?
6?
3.
Really?
3 double-digit. And listen, 15 years ago, baseball was a much different sport.
Sure.
There was shame in striking out, unless your name was Ryan Howard.
Sure.
There was a little shame in striking out 15 years ago.
There was 4 guys who it was okay for them to strike out.
Yeah, but 3, that's how many Ranger has this season. That's how many Ranger has in his last 5 starts, which is pretty freaking impressive. It's crazy that this team is able to, even without its staff ace, still stifle opponents like this. And like I said yesterday, the Mets came into this series averaging 6 runs a game against the Phils, and they have all but shut them down. And then, of course, there's home run number 50 in a situation in which there was only one acceptable outcome for the offense to ruin the save situation so people couldn't see Duran. And it was this exactly. It was, if I can see Schwarber's 50th, that is better than seeing 103 and seeing the entrance. But that's it. And we get it. And it just felt like everybody called it. Like Kruk said it on the broadcast. I'm sitting there next to Ava, and she's like, this is the one. This is it right here, the insurance runs. And like everybody, you look down the Twitter timeline, I think Jack Fritz called it. Like everybody was like, I'm just feeling number 50 here. And he puts it in the seats. It's kind of crazy that the Phillies have existed since 1883. And the only two 50 home run seasons have been in our like fandom window. Not just our lifetime, but like since we've been conscious and watching the game intently.
Yeah, I mean, I think you think about, obviously, you think your immediate surprise is like, wow, Mike Schmidt never did it, right?
Yeah.
And then you think about, okay, did Dick Allen do it in his time? No. Did Greg Lazinski do it in his time? No. Like, Jim Thome didn't do it, who was really, really good in his first couple years here. And, you know, like, I know the Phillies were bad during the steroid era, but the steroid era existed.
It still happened.
Brady Anderson hit 50 home runs. Like, guys just randomly hit 50 because reasons, like, quote unquote, right? It is kind of surprising for one of the most long-running, you know, good or bad, doesn't matter. Like to not to that be the second guy ever to do it. It is kind of surprising.
It is, yeah. I want to do a little bit more on Schwarber and just kind of like realizing what his career is at this point, because it is so freaking impressive and so unique. But first, we got to take our first commercial break. Listen up, because pro football, we know it is here. It is upon us. And the Birds, well, they're heading into week 2. They have a huge matchup in KC this weekend. 2 of the top favorites still to win the pro football championship. And the one and only BetPark Sportsbook has an amazing offer for new users. It is an amazing 50-1 odds boost on your pick to win this year's Pro Football Championship. All new users who sign up and make a deposit receive a 50-1 super odds boost. BetParks.com has all the terms and conditions, but what you got to know right now, you get your odds boosted 50-1, even when you take one of these favorites, like KC, like San Fran, Baltimore, Detroit, Cincy, or, of course, the one we all want to get that 50-1 on, Philadelphia. So download the BetPark Sportsbook, an online casino app, right now and get your 50-1 super odds boost on your pick for this year's Pro Football Champion. It's a limited time offer for new customers only. BetParks.com has those terms and conditions, but you must be 21 and in PA, Jersey, Michigan, or Maryland. You play for fun. You love to win. You bet. BetParks, gambling problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, so the other day I'm over at a buddy's house, right? We're thinking about watching some football, and all of a sudden, the setup, it's a total mess. Lagging, buffering. You got to switch between apps trying to find the game. You know, your friend claims they're a big sports fan, but you feel like you've been fan-fished in that moment. See, if you call yourself a football fan, you have to get Xfinity. It is the ultimate sports destination. You can find all of the best games, your favorite teams, all in one place. And the why you watch, the way you watch, it's next level. It is the perfect fan flex. You get all of the action right in your living room. Plus, Xfinity offers the best picture and sound with enhanced 4K. It is so clear, it's going to feel like you are in the stadium. Sometimes you go quad box. You got all 4 games going at once because why not? It's a great opportunity to do that, to catch a bunch of different games at once, especially in the pro football, the college football slate. You can do all of that. On top of that, you get real-time notification and live stats right on your TV. It is the best seat in the house every single time. Next game day, make sure that big fan isn't a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that.
All right, welcome back to Philadelphia. I love that transition. The graphics and stuff that went into this show, like I think they're so freaking cool. We're gonna have more good stuff coming as we really get our bearings. But I want to go back to Kyle Schwarber for a minute, because I saw, you know, the day after Schwarber hits number 50, and we're talking about him. Oh, yeah, man. The 4-year, what was it, $79 million contract he signed in his late 20s. He's about to get something that's going to put that to shame in the very near future. This morning, I see Anthony Rizzo is retiring. And it really got me thinking about that 2016 Cubs team and how it looked like, yeah, man, that World Series was really something special. Even if you're not a Cubs fan, you're not a Chicago fan, like, it was hard not to get swept up in that. And they're playing Cleveland, so it was like, man, one of these teams is going to end the longest drought ever. But I'm thinking, like, okay, Anthony Rizzo, he's retired now. Chris Bryant, he has played 170 total games over the last 4 years with the Rockies and still has 3 years at $27 million left with Colorado. Jason Hayward's still around. Javi Baez was actually an all-star this year.
Yeah, he kind of reinvented his career a little bit.
Addison Russell suspended a few years ago for domestic abuse. Now he bounces around Korea and Mexican leagues. And then there's Schwarber, who at, age 33, well, the contract will kick in at age 33, is the best he's ever been. Like, he's going to get MVP votes this year. He's going to come close to a franchise record for home runs. And that's just, it's not something we ever see. It's not something, especially with this franchise, because looking at that 2016 Cubs team, like, you look at the run. So in 15, they lose the NLCS, they get swept. They win in 7 to win the World Series the next year. They lose the NLCS in 17, one-game wild card in 18, and then that's it. Like, you thought they were at least going to go on the, 07 to 11 Phils run where, all right, maybe they didn't win it every year, but they get back, and it really just never went that way, and then the whole thing got broken up, and most of the highest profile guys on that team are gone, and it reminded me of the 07 to 11 Phils where, boom, it was just over. And it makes me really want to make sure this team takes advantage of their championship window because it is so fleeting. But also, I want to enjoy moments like a 50th home run, And I'm starting to have this little twinge of old man in me, though, Tyler. Do I really want Schwarber to break the record? Listen, if he can hit,
you're gonna be that guy.
If he can hit 74 or even 70 to get to the steroid era home run record, sure, I would love to see that happen. But since it's he's only going to be able to take down Ryan Howard if he does anything at all, I don't know. Rhino was kind of my guy. Do I want to see Schwarber do it? But it is special no matter what. And it's crazy how he's still around and the rest of that team is basically, it's over.
And I get it, right? But here's the truth, right? So Schwarber now is tied with a handful of players for the 46th most in a single season with 50. He hits the next one, he's going to go to 41st. He hits 2 more, he's going to go to 34. He hits 3 more, he's going to go to 31. He'll be inside the top 30 with his next 3 home runs. If you get to 58, you're now all of a sudden, or 59 for this case, you're now in the top 10 all time. So if you're looking at, I get it, because Ryan Howard means a lot to you. Ryan Howard means a lot to me. I lamented about Ryan Howard for 20 minutes on the Philly show today. But if you're talking about then, you're getting into the category of tied with Babe Ruth in 1921. If you hit 60, it's tied with Babe Ruth in 1927. You're then getting to Maris and Judge, and then you get to those steroid era guys you mentioned, Sosa, McGuire, Bonds, right?
Numbers that are clearly almost impossible to match because nobody has since.
He's not going to, I don't think he gets to 60, right? I don't even know if he gets to Ryan Howard's 58.
I think he's on pace for 56.
But if he hits 55 or 56, you're talking about one of the 25 single-season most powerful seasons of all time. And in fact, we're seeing 2 guys do it this year because Cal Raleigh's at 53.
Yeah, it's
and I would imagine Shohei's going to get to 50 by the end of the year as well. You might have 3 50 home run hitters, which is really equally impressive to me considering, I understand that, Howard means a lot to our generation. But this is I don't want to call it equally impressive because Howard's 2006 was on another stratosphere, but it's a really darn good season.
And doing it at this age with it just seems like such an unobtainable number. That's if he could get to 60, I'd be all for it. If he only hits 58 or 59, I will be upset. If he actually ties Babe Ruth, that would be that's insane.
I think you're not getting to 60, but
no,
he's got 17 games left. If he hits, I think he could hit 5 or 6 more.
I think I saw this on Twitter last night. The most home runs he has in a 17 game stretch is 10. So it would be matching like his best stretch of the season. We'll see how that goes. We all remember how it went for Howard down the stretch in 06. Like, oh man, he's a lock for 60, and then he didn't see a strike for 3 weeks. So like, all right, we'll get to that. But now it's time for a little bit of obligatory Eagles. I know we should be over it by now, Tyler, but I will never let go of my Andy Reid hate. I will never let go of it. During this last Super Bowl run, I decorated my entire house in basically all my Eagles merch, and I set up on this jukebox I inherited from my father-in-law the shrine to all of Andy Reid's greatest failures. It's all the NFC East Championship hats. It's the 04 NFC hat. It's the 04 NFC pennant. And I wanted to harness that energy of all of his greatest failures and see if I could somehow sway the outcome of this game. And I believe I did, because if there's anyone who disliked Andy Reid as much as me, it was Big Daddy Graham. So I used his jukebox as the as the conduit for trying to reach another plane to try to influence the outcome of this game. As a kid, I'm in middle school, high school during the prime Andy run here, and they lost every big game. He did nothing but disappoint me his entire time here. And I don't know if I'll ever get over it, and nothing would make me happier, Tyler. This franchise in Kansas City that felt like they were going to be the new Patriots. It's not going that way. They feel as if they're teetering right now. And if we could be the team that pushes them over the edge, I'm not saying it would be as good as another Super Bowl, but it might be. I don't know.
I got to be honest with you, man. I am stunned by this take. I am stunned by this take.
I hate him.
Because, as you said, there was a lot of losing in our childhoods, no doubt about it. And it was formative years of being Eagles fans. But you say losing, it's relative losing, right? It's championship level losing. It wasn't 5-11 year after year, where it wasn't even Chad Lewis, who the Bengals held on to for 12 years more than they should, who never won a playoff game, right?
Marvin Lewis.
Marvin Lewis, not Chad Lewis. Marvin Lewis, my apologies. You're talking about a guy who has almost 70 more wins in the regular season than the next closest coach. He's 130 wins as an Eagle. You're talking about a guy who has 10 more playoff appearances than the next closest coach. It's Nick Sirianni. You're talking about a guy who has 4 more playoff wins than the next closest coach. It's Nick Sirianni. For a team that has basically been good more times than not since 2000, I think Andy Reid has a big part of that. Andy Reid changed the culture of this franchise for the better.
I think if you were to make a Mount Rushmore of Philadelphia Eagles, he would have to be on it for the way he set this team up. But I still just don't like him. That's really what the way that team let me down. They lost 14-3 at home in an NFC title game. They closed the vet down with the worst disgrace ever. They couldn't move the ball or even realize what the score was in a Super Bowl that was incredibly winnable on a day the Patriots did not play well. They lose to the Arizona Cardinals in a game they had the lead in the fourth quarter late. It was just disappointment after disappointment, and those things are just the scars that built me to this point that I don't think I will ever be able to get over.
I get it. I understand that there was the Panthers game is the one that bothers me the most. I know a lot of people view the Bucs game as that one. The Panthers one bothered me the most because they take the opening kickoff deep, they get 3, they don't score again. But I think to me, there's more importance. There's more. It's more pressing for Andy Reid. Would you take 6-10 every year, or would you take losing the NFC Championship game? Everybody with the right mind would take losing the NFC Championship game, even if it means heartbreak. So I get your thought process of your formative years being set by NFC Championship defeat after NFC Championship defeat after NFC Championship defeat. But I think if you asked, the Cowboys were not particularly good in that stretch. If you asked Cowboys fans, would they take that? Sure, they would. They haven't been to a title game in 30 years. I think it's relative, and I'm surprised that take comes from you.
It's relative, but it is the standard of winners. Judging yourself against losers is how you remain losers. And yes, Andy Reid was a big part of setting that standard, and I'm holding him to it. All right, we have to hit this other break so I can fit the rest of the stuff in. All right, whether your favorite team wins or not, there's always another way to win at BetParx Online Casino. You have to check out new casino games like Huff and More Puff and the BetParx exclusive Fireblaze Sky Queen. It's the only app I use to play all my favorite games right in the palm of my hand. They've got blackjack, roulette, craps, poker, baccarat, and hot online slots like Cash Eruption, 88 Fortunes, and Cleopatra. And you can play slots based on your favorite streaming shows like Squid Game and Peaky Blinders. And right now, new users can get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. All you got to do is go to betparx.com and download the app and enjoy all of the action and excitement from the casino at your fingertips. Must be 21 and in PA, Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan for BetParx. You love to play. You play to win. You bet. BetParx. Gambling problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, let's talk about getting you back to what you love. So whether you're a weekend warrior or you're just trying to keep up with the kids, you know how tough it is when your body doesn't cooperate. That's where Rothman Orthopedics comes in. Whether it's pain from playing your favorite sport, an old injury, or it's just age starting to catch up to you, time is undefeated. Rothman's team of experts is here to help with evidence-based care and a mission to restore your mobility. They will get you back on your feet and back to doing what you love. Don't let pain hold you back. Visit rothmanortho.com/PHLY to schedule your appointment today and get back to being your best self. Rothman Orthopedics, we're getting you back in the game, is their mission.
All right, I want to hit on this date now. On this date, just a year ago, the benches cleared in a Phillies-Rays game at Citizens Bank Park after Edwin Uceta threw at and plunked Nick Castellanos with a 96.2-mile-an-hour pitch. Harper charged Uceta from second base and ultimately pulled up because he said he wasn't looking at me. I understand that sentiment and also believe when someone throws a projectile at your buddy, the code goes out the window. Feel free to sucker punch him. Harper's luck, he would break his hand, so maybe don't. But I think the only thing, Tyler, that could make this Phillies-Mets series better, other than sweeping them, is a freaking brawl. I can't tell you the last time. We've had benches cleared plenty of times, but I can't remember the last time we actually had punches thrown. You know, I can't remember the last time we actually saw somebody take a shot at somebody. So I think that is the one and only thing that could make this better. I want the sweep, but maybe a little brawl too. Get a little slap shot action in there. You know, I'm always for the violence. I'm always for a good fight. So that is just thinking of Nick Castellanos like breaking Brandon Nimmo over his knee like Bane in The Dark Knight Rises. I think that would be. That would just be special.
I'm trying to think about like just baseball in general. There's a lot of benches clear, and then they go tough guy act on you, but nothing ever happens. The one that always stands out to me. Do you remember? It was a few years ago now. Do you remember when Amir Garrett was facing the Pirates when he was with the Reds? And he basically somebody mouthed off to him, and he basically said, "I'll fight you."
Yes.
And they said, "All right, come and do it." And then he just decided, "I'm going to go fight the entire Pirates team." And the thing is, too, like he did it with such intention that I remember watching that and being like, "Yeah, he might win this fight." It's 1 versus 5, and he might win.
I have learned in those situations, act as crazy as possible, and people will be like, wait, is he like an MMA fighter and I don't know? Like, if you act as if you can beat up 5 guys, you are likely to get yourself out of the situation. All right, before we wrap up today, I have a segment called That's Not Sports. And I have a little bit of a movie recommendation for you because last Friday I went to the movie theater and I saw The Roses, and it was freaking awesome. Incredible cast with Benedict Cumberbatch, Andy Samberg's in it, Olivia Colman, Kate McKinnon, director Jay Roach. He did all the Austin Powers movies. He did Meet the Parents movies, Mystery Alaska, The Campaign. This movie is absurd, but in a totally different way than all those other movies. It's about a couple that really, really loves each other, and then through a couple of twists and turns through their career, resentment builds, and it just keeps escalating. It just keeps escalating. I don't want to give too much away because it is an hilarious movie. I had an awesome time at the theater. I think I gave it a 5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. I've been going to the movies a little more lately. I used to love movies and just kind of stopped, like got in a rut. Like now, like, you know, Pulp Fiction's my favorite movie ever and I'm done. And now I'm trying to get back into it. And this was easily one of the best comedies I've seen in a while and one of the best overall movies. Highly, highly recommend The Roses. If you've got nothing to do, go check it out in theaters. I absolutely freaking loved it. All right, that will do it for us today. Make sure you check out the premiere of Unblocked, our new show featuring our own Bo Wolf and, of course, Eagles legend Brandon Graham. It premiered today. Check it out on YouTube, Unblocked with Brandon Graham. That's it. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out. Hit the like button. 32 likes. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. We need more. Make sure you share the show. Tell all your friends. All right. My name is Bill Matz. Thank you to Tyler Zulli. Till tomorrow, be excellent to each other.
We all silly like the mayor.